Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. If you're absolutely in love with the New York Knicks like I am, I recommend clicking that red subscribe button down below and lighting up that post notification bell so you do not miss any future content on this channel. So the New York Knicks had a bounce back victory versus the Memphis Grizzlies last night. An injury, just riddled team that's just been killed with them. No Jaren Jackson Jr. last night, and then you saw John Morant. He's out for the rest of the season after he was just suspended. He has a shoulder injury and he's out for the rest of the season. You saw no Zaire Williams out there on the floor. They literally have the youngest player in the NBA of G.G. Jackson from South Carolina, and he balled out. I believe he had 20 points. He played one hell of a game. He looks like a very fluid, natural player. But the New York Knicks were able to bounce back after that Mavericks game that we couldn't grab a rebound at all at that 110 mark. But at the end of the day, the New York Knicks should have never put themselves in that position. They should have got off to a better start when it came to that first half, because just 110 left, you allow like 4 offensive rebounds, and then you see Josh Green, an Australian player that I really liked coming out of Arizona, hit that big time right wing free ball to be the dagger. But versus the Grizzlies, even though they had big time injuries, Jalen Brunson was out as well. He was a game time decision. I think a big reason we didn't play him, maybe this isn't a Tibbs philosophy because Tibbs likes to play his guys no matter what, but the Grizzlies aren't really good without their top guys out there. Let's try to go out there and get a victory. It was sloppy. We had some turnovers we definitely need to clean up. We need to clean up some things on the defensive side of the basketball. At times we were undisciplined. OG Anunoby fouled someone at the 3-point line. He had a turnover a couple plays before that. Julius Randle, I believe, had 6 turnovers. So we definitely have to clean that up. I felt like everyone in the starting lineup had a very questionable turnover that it was just very confusing. But the New York Knicks were able to execute. But we got to talk about Isaiah Hartenstein. We have to talk about Isaiah Hartenstein. I could have a separate video talking about Miles McBride's role moving forward. But Isaiah Hartenstein, these last 7 games, he's been playing awesome basketball since the RJ Barrett trade. And just in general, when he has gotten the opportunity to start since Mitchell Robinson has gone down, he's been playing very solid ball. And he's been playing very solid to the point I see people on social media saying, should he be our starter moving forward? He's actually going to be a free agent in 2024. He's still relatively young, 25 years of age. So if the Knicks want to bring him back, they're going to have to pay him, while they also have to pay OG Anunoby, or he's definitely going to get money somewhere else. And Mitchell Robinson, there's a possibility that he comes back this season. Remember the report that they didn't accept our injury exception or whatever it's called, and we weren't able to get the cap space or get the money because there's a possibility that he's going to come back. But some Knicks fans want Mitchell Robinson off that bench now, because Isaiah Hartenstein's been playing very, very solid ball. And in 2024, even though it's a smaller sample size, he's leading the NBA in rebounds and blocked shots. And he brings another element when it comes to offensively to the table. He's not an exceptional, amazing free throw shooter, but hovering around 70% is way better than Mitchell Robinson, hovering below 50% from the foul line. He brings way more touch, and I really appreciate Mitchell Robinson. I'm not saying Isaiah Hartenstein should be the starter. I'm not going to give you guys a real answer because I still think it's a smaller sample size. But we know Mitchell Robinson, fantastic offensive rebounder. We know he can crash the glass. He can block shots. One of the top shot blockers in the NBA. His second jump is insane, even with these injuries in his career, especially the ankle injuries. Foot injury when he fractured his foot. He's a lob threat as well. But maybe it's also an element of RJ being traded, but this is just Hartenstein's game in general. When you add a floor spacer of OG Anunoby and someone that's used to cutting to the basket within that Raptors offense, and Hartenstein likes to pass, he likes to orchestrate the offense, that really opens up a lot when it comes to floor spacing, having more room to operate out there on the floor. You see the give and goes. You see Dante cutting. You see OG cutting. It just seems like it opens up so much for Hartenstein, and he's a true leader out there on the floor. He's going to give it his all, even if he's playing 10 minutes when it comes to off the bench. He's been playing exceptional, amazing basketball, and it's awesome to see a center put his body into someone and finish with a tough layup. A dunk isn't always going to be an opportunity there. You're not always going to have the opportunity to funnel the ball, and he's a very solid athlete as well. When there's space, he's going to throw it down. You throw lobs. He's not a Mitchell Robinson level athlete when it comes to his feet moving defensively. He's more of a fundamental based defensive player. And he's maybe not going to make crazy wow plays to certain standards, even though I think he's a wow pop player defensively. He had that game when we took on Minnesota and won. It's no fluke. He rebounded the ball well. He was decent offensively. He blocked Rudy Gobert 2 times to give us some momentum in some moments in the first half and the second half. It was no fluke, no doubt about it. He had very nice matchups. He took on the Philadelphia 76ers, scored 17 points versus Joel Embiid starting. Took on the Milwaukee Bucks. I know their defense is struggling, but Brook Lopez, Defensive Player of the Year candidate last year, Hasn't really been as good this year, but that's still a starting center in this league, and he balled out and out-rebounded Brook Lopez in that latest matchup when it came to Christmas. You got to give credit to Hartenstein. He's been playing amazing, amazing basketball. The way he's been crashing the glass is another level. He had 20 rebounds last night. He was in double-digit scoring, he had 4 blocks, he had a couple steals. This dude's all over the place. He plays with so much heart. He's a great, great teammate, and when he gets to the foul line, at least we know he's at least going to knock down one free throw, or may possibly knock down both free throws. But I like the floaters he brings to the table. I like the movement, because before last season there was less movement in this offense, but I feel like Isaiah Hartenstein has another level of comfortability out there on the floor, but he wants the rebound. I feel like the outlier game, because anyone should have grabbed that freaking rebound. We allowed 4 offensive rebounds, whatever it was in that one possession versus the Dallas Mavericks. Like, that's inexcusable. Maybe you wanted Hartenstein, of course, to grab the rebound there, but when you take a look at Isaiah Hartenstein, of course, he's going to be a free agent this offseason. We're going to have to pay him. But since January 1st, since the RJ trade, things opening up, he's averaged 14.7 rebounds, 9.6 points, and 2.7 assists in 7 games. So that's a smaller sample size, but 72% from the overall field as well. And when you take a look, he's averaging 2.4 block shots a game, 2.1 steals. And like I mentioned, like versus Philly, 17 points. Against Minnesota, he had 9 rebounds, very solid game, 3 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks. He only had 1 turnover. Sometimes he could try to do too much, but I love his ability to distribute the basketball, his ability to block shots. He's very good when it comes to blocking shots. Sometimes he can get into foul trouble, and that's been kind of like a theme, especially last year. But he's kind of reminding me of what I thought we were kind of going to get with an older Joakim Noah when that contract just did not work out. The passing defensively brings high energy. He screams his ass off because he plays very hard. He brings it on both ends of the floor. And just the dribble handoff sometimes we see with him in certain actions that I want to continue to see consistently with Grimes when he's out there on the floor. Even when he gets beat, like his recovery skills to block shots is another level, because he's just straight up full on effort, and he's definitely a fan favorite. And he's going to continue to be a fan favorite if the New York Knicks pay him. But maybe versatility defensively, that may hurt us a little bit in the playoffs. But now with OG, someone that's capable of guarding just multiple positions, you're going to have someone that can clog the lanes and just come up with these block shots. He had 4 blocks last night that, like, a couple of them were in the interior. He had 1 on Xavier Tillman, so that could take pressure off of Hartenstein if we continue to start him and if Mitch isn't healthy for the playoffs. But you just look at Hartenstein as a starter this season, 11.9 rebounds, 8.1 points, 2.9 assists, bringing us more offensively at that center position. And you look at the block shots, 1.6 blocks, 1.8 steals per game. Isaiah Hartenstein's been playing some damn good basketball, and we're winning games. Like against the Bucks, that's a big win, because we don't usually match up well against them, even though I know they've had their struggles this season. But we were like 0-3 entering that game versus the Bucks, and we haven't beaten them in a while. But versus Minnesota, versus Philly, those are good wins, as the Knicks are currently that 6th seed. They're trying to climb themselves up when it comes to those standings. But let's give flowers to Isaiah Hartenstein. He's a very solid athlete as well. He's playing very great ball. Let me know down below your thoughts on Isaiah Hartenstein. Should he be the starter moving forward? He's quietly been one of the best centers in the NBA when it comes to 2024. Peace out, y'all.